Nestled in the affluent suburb of Brookfield was St. Andrews Academy, a prestigious private school known for its tradition, immaculate uniforms, and ivy-covered walls. It was the kind of place where success was expected, where the children of doctors, lawyers, and CEOs spent their days preparing for a future that seemed as assured as the green lawns that surrounded the school. In this world of privilege, appearances mattered more than anything, and fitting in was an unspoken requirement. Among the perfectly dressed students, there was a girl named Olivia Harris. Olivia's skin was a deep, rich brown, the darkest among her peers, and her tight curls framed her face with a natural halo. She was beautiful, but not in a way the students at St. Andrews were used to. Most of her classmates were white or biracial, with light skin, straight hair, and features that Olivia had learned early on were considered better and prettier. From the moment she first stepped through the grand entrance of St. Andrews, Olivia felt out of place. The whispers started almost immediately, quiet enough to pretend she didn't hear but loud enough to sting. "Is she lost? This isn't public school," she overheard one girl whisper to her friend, both of them giggling as they looked her up and down. "She's so dark, does she even belong here?" Another boy snickered, not bothering to lower his voice. Olivia tried to ignore them, but the remarks only grew bolder. Sometimes they came as jokes in the lunch line, other times as insults passed in the hallways, and occasionally as anonymous notes left in her locker with cruel drawings and words. It wasn't just the kids. She could feel the stares of teachers, too, that moment of hesitation before speaking to her, as if they were unsure of what to say. Despite her attempts to fit in joining clubs, excelling in her studies, and even straightening her hair to mimic the other girls, Olivia felt invisible. The kids at St. Andrews were nice enough to her face, but when she looked into their eyes, she saw judgment. She couldn't change the one thing they seemed to despise most: her skin. Her escape became the school library, a quiet place where no one judged her. She lost herself in books, stories of heroes and faraway lands where skin color didn't define anyone. But even in the library, the whispers reached her. She'd catch glimpses of the other students pointing and laughing, the sting of their mockery lingering in the silence. By the time Olivia graduated, she was determined to leave St. Andrews behind and never look back. She attended college locally, studied business, and took a part-time job at a cafe to make ends meet. One rainy afternoon, as she was rushing out of the cafe to catch her bus, Olivia bumped into a tall, impeccably dressed woman with a sharp, discerning gaze. The woman, named Helena Brooks, was a talent scout for one of the biggest modeling agencies in New York. Helena had an eye for beauty that went beyond the conventional, and in Olivia, she saw something extraordinary. "Excuse me," Helena said, smiling as she handed Olivia her business card. "Have you ever thought about modeling?" Olivia was taken aback. Modeling? She had spent so many years shrinking herself, trying to disappear from the ridicule, that the idea of being seen on such a grand scale seemed impossible. She looked at Helena, then at the card, half expecting it to be some kind of cruel joke, but Helena's eyes were sincere, and there was no mistaking the admiration in her voice. "You have the kind of beauty that could change everything," Helena continued. "Think about it. We're looking for someone just like you." That night, Olivia sat in her small apartment, staring at the card. Memories of St. Andrews flooded back: the laughter, the notes, the feeling of always being less than. She almost threw the card away, but something inside her sparked a tiny ember of defiance. For once, she wanted to see herself the way Helena did, not as the dark-skinned girl who was different, but as someone with the power to redefine beauty. Olivia took a chance. She called Helena the next day, and before she knew it, she was on a train to New York for her first photo shoot. The modeling world was intimidating, filled with towering models and photographers who barked instructions. But Olivia was determined. She channeled every ounce of the pain she'd carried from her past into her work, walking with the confidence of someone who had been underestimated her entire life. The industry took notice. In a matter of months, Olivia's face was on billboards, magazines, and runways in cities she'd only dreamed of visiting. Her skin, once ridiculed, was now celebrated as radiant, stunning, and unique. She became a symbol of change, shattering the narrow definitions of beauty that had once excluded her. But the pinnacle of Olivia's journey came when she was invited back to St. Andrews to give a talk about her career. Standing on the stage of the school that had caused her so much pain, she felt a rush of emotions: anger, sadness, and, most surprisingly, forgiveness. The auditorium was filled with students, some of whom were her old classmates. They stared at her with wide eyes, hardly recognizing the girl they used to mock. Olivia began her speech, not with bitterness, but with a message of hope and acceptance. She told them about the girl who had sat alone in the library, feeling like she would never be enough. She spoke of the nights she cried herself to sleep, wishing she could change her skin just to feel accepted. She shared the turning point, the moment she decided to stop trying to fit in and start embracing who she was. "The world is full of people who will try to tell you that you're not enough," Olivia said, her voice steady and strong. "But what they think doesn't define you. It's how you see yourself that matters." As she spoke, Olivia saw the faces of her old bullies soften. She realized that they, too, were trapped by their own fears and insecurities. They had been conditioned to believe in a narrow view of what was beautiful. When she finished, the room erupted in applause, not just for her success, but for her courage to stand before them as her true self. Leaving St. Andrews that day, Olivia felt lighter. She had come full circle, from the girl who was bullied to the woman who inspired. Her journey was a testament to the power of self-acceptance and the belief that we are all beautiful in our own right. Olivia's story became a symbol of unity, a reminder that our differences are not flaws but the threads that make the fabric of humanity rich and vibrant. In the end, Olivia had found the most important kind of acceptance, her own, and with that, she became a beacon of hope for anyone who had ever felt like they didn't belong.